human immunodeficiency virus. That's what HIV stands for.
There are thousands of known cases of HIV infection in Newark. While the AIDS hospital units across America are closing, Newark's are full.
My name is Ines White and I work for University Hospital. I work in the infectious disease clinic. I'm here today to talk to you about HIV and AIDS. HIV is real. HIV is here.
We have a big problem with drug use here. That's the biggest risk factor that we have. At least 50% of the patients get infected from drugs.
Cocaine brings it down quick, fast, and in a hurry.
In Newark, only a small percentage of people who do know they're infected are getting help.
My name is Clifton Washington. I'm 37, and I'm living with the HIV/AIDS.
Times I didn't think I'd be able to move out that bed. Just to go out there and have a free fall, it's not worth it. This is the end results. It's not worth it.
HIV has totally devastated our community.
HIV is living with me.
HIV is living with me.
HIV is living with me.
I
have a package.
I was you.
I was you. I was you.
Addicted.
Coke,
Speedball,
alcohol,
weed, rock,
crack, diesel. I did just about everything. One day I received a package with no return address. And able to send it back has added to my stress. With anything else, I'd be willing to share. But with this package, I do not dare.
HIV is a virus that can lead to AIDS. You cannot get it from drinking from the cup of an HIV-positive person, living with someone who has the virus, or from casual contact. There are only 4 ways to get it.
It's through blood, through semen, through vaginal secretions, through breast milk. And whatever activity is going on with that, there needs to be some transfer of bodily fluids. If we're talking with the needle, there's blood left in the syringe. This person shoots up with it, passes it on to the next person. Even if there's skin popping, what they call it. Because wherever there's skin, there's blood.
The immune system protects your body from germs, like bacteria and viruses. HIV kills certain cells in the immune system and weakens the body's defenses.
One virus goes into one cell, takes over the machinery of the cell, and exploits the machinery and starts making lots of viruses. And as the viruses come out of the cell at a certain point, either directly or indirectly, the cell is killed. So maybe 100 viruses come out, or maybe many more, and each one of those viruses independently can go and infect another cell.
If you are infected, the amount of virus in your bloodstream, called the viral load, goes up. The virus causes the T cell count to go down. T cells are also called CD4 cells.
Your T cells, which are your helper cells, which are the cells that help keep you healthy. They fight off germs and bacteria. The more of them you have, the safer you are. The less of them you have, the more at risk you are.
What turns HIV into AIDS? Just having it too long?
The depletion of your immune system. When you have a diagnosis of AIDS, according to the Center for Disease Control, you have 200 T cells or less, or 1 or more opportunistic infections.
When you do not have enough T cells to destroy germs, germs can make you sick, and you can get what I call opportunistic infections like PCP pneumonia.
I got HIV from being stupid. I already knew that I had HIV because I was living a life. HIV is like a vicious dog, nipping at your heels.
Running off with you.
And you're running as fast as you can. Sooner or later you're going to stop.
north, there is hope. And there is a vehicle to get you on the road to health. There's the NJCRI Mobile RV Unit.
This is Wednesday. I'm on my way to the Renaissance Church to do HIV testing. This area is a high-risk area for drug activity.
There are people coming up infected due to sharing syringes or any instruments to use street drugs.
If they're sharing needles, they're infecting other people. And people will look at them, oh man, Joe, he's fine. You know, Joe's all right. Come on, Joe, give me hit of that. But Joe's infected. So now Paul's infected. John's infected. And John's going to go home and have sex with his wife. He's going to infect her. She's going to mess around with the man around the corner and infect him. And he's going to go back home and infect his wife.
Any unprotected sexual contact with a person, man and man, man and woman, woman and woman, whose HIV status is positive or unknown, is risky behavior.
If you're under the influence of any kind of substance, then that can lead you to have risky behavior.
High-risk behaviors are having anal intercourse without using any protection, have vaginal intercourse with no protection, oral sex on a male with no protection, oral sex on a woman with no protection.
One of the main myths I hear a lot is about, if I get a blowjob, will I get HIV? It is a possibility. Second myth I hear a lot about is, before I come, I snatch out. Snatching out doesn't put into consideration that you have a pre-cum before you actually come. And what happens is you still mix the body fluid.
Understanding that marriage certificates don't stop the virus. Understanding that, oh, I only have one boyfriend and we've been together for 10 years, don't stop the virus.
The only person you can be assured that of their health is yourself.
You can know the female, you can know the guy, you don't know what they're carrying.
The prettiest people in the world have HIV.
What does someone look like that has the HIV virus?
Can you tell I have it? Can you tell?
I have it.
Yeah, I have it.
I have it.
Can you tell?
That person in that mirror is the only one that can tell you the God's honest truth. But sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes you're not ready to face the truth.
This is the medical ICU, and unfortunately this is where many of our HIV patients actually enter the hospital. It doesn't have to be this way, but the reason is the HIV virus has done terrible damage to their immune system to the point where they're very vulnerable and they get these bad opportunistic infections, and they're very sick. And so the first place they go to in our hospital is the intensive care unit.
It doesn't have to be this way. Don't put your head in the sand. Face that you are at risk and get tested.
Some of the beliefs that substance abusers have are that I've been running in the street for 10 years or 15 years. Nothing has happened to me yet, so nothing's going to happen to me. I feel fine. I look fine.
A lot of people still deny it. They think like it can't happen to them. And I too myself was like, it won't happen to me.
Sometimes when people are in denial, they need to be told they're in denial. Sometimes a person needs to hear you say, you're okay. A person needs to hear that sometimes. Because they're so used to BSing their way through everything. It's a shock to their system when you don't let them get away with it.
Some people do not get tested because taking drugs can interfere with taking care of themselves.
The junkies may die. They don't care.
That getting high is more important to them than their lives.
Lots of people don't want to be tested because they don't want to know.
I think a lot of people may feel the way I felt. Like I just really didn't want to know. I had a drug problem and I wasn't practicing a lot of safe sex. And there was a lot of sex, a lot of fornicating going on in my addiction. But, I had some fears.
If I don't know, nothing will happen. But it will.
Many people are afraid to be tested because they're afraid of the stigma.
Your 7 package is giving me lots of pain.
the way that people look at me is driving me insane.
They would say, you got that look. When they say you got that look, which meant you look like you had AIDS. So I didn't want to go outside, because I didn't want nobody to say I had that look.
We know what it feels like to be ostracized, rejected, and reproached. And when you're stigmatized by social biases, a lot of people don't come out of that unscathed.
If they test positive, people might be afraid to tell others.
Yeah, that's my sister. She didn't let us know she had AIDS. We didn't know till she died. It got to the point where, I seen her lose the weight. Then she broke out with little spots. And I said, like, you got AIDS or something? She was like, no, it's stress. Then she got where she stayed away from the family. She was going to the doctor in West Patterson, so nobody would know what she was going to the doctor for. Then they say another girl died. Just like that.
I didn't know how I was going to explain this. This was unthinkable. Furthest thing from my mind. I have to go home and tell somebody.
I don't want to go to this clinic because people are going to find out. But when you can't breathe and your chest is hurting and your lungs are hurting and your body's in all kind of aches and pains and you end up in the hospital laying on your back, guess what? People are going to know. It's finding out before it becomes painful. It's finding out the same thing that you're hiding from is going to be the thing that comes to haunt you. Find out. Get empowered. Get informed. Get the information. Share the information. Don't be afraid to talk about it.
I've gotten so much love from me not being afraid to say it than I did running around here trying to hide. I don't have no shame in my game.
You have to put that fear in your back pocket. Get somebody to go with you.
In Newark, HIV testing is easy, free, and available to everyone.
In the city of Newark, we have a lot of mobile RVs to just go around from neighborhood to neighborhood. And they give incentives to people to come and be tested.
It's very important to be here. It's where you can meet the people where they're at and their own atmosphere. Yeah, I care for the population that I meet because I was one of the populations that I meet. I was homeless at one time. I was in substance abuse. I was in substance abuse. I used drugs for over 20 years. I was an IDU drug user.
People don't like needles. They don't like needles. I mean, with all the intravenous drug use that we have, I guess that's recreational, so it's okay. But they don't want to have blood drawn to have an HIV test done.
Unlike the early days of testing, now you can get an HIV test without needles. It is called OraSure.
We do an OraSure test, which consists of a swab, and what it does, it collects the membrane from the inside of your jaw.
OraSure is accurate and it's painless. It's bloodless.
After testing, the specimen is shipped to the lab for analysis. The human immunodeficiency virus has chemicals on its surface that the immune system can detect. The immune system then produces its own chemicals called antibodies that try to destroy the virus. The OraSure test works by checking to see if the specimen contains any of these antibodies. If it does, this means that the virus has infected the body. Lab results come back in 2 weeks.
At the end of the session, I was just stressed, please come back and see me. It's rather to know than to not know.
Everyone needs to go back for their results. It's like starting a car up and not driving off. Makes no sense.
Not knowing is like not growing.
One of your representatives kind of spoke to me and encouraged me to, to really get tested. Like, it was really important to know.
Now that you got tested, how you feel about it now?
I feel a lot better. Thank God I'm negative.
If you come up negative, stay that way. Do not share works.
You better use the raincoat for everything and anything.
And get tested every 3 to 6 months. Some people think they can test positive one time and later test negative. This is not true.
So Major Johnson, they're saying he's HIV free?
Well, he's not HIV free. His viral load is undetectable. His viral load means how much virus they find in his bloodstream. And the amount of virus in the bloodstream is so low that it can't be detected. So that's why they call it undetectable. In a car, you have your gas gauge, and that usually measures how much gas you have. When your gas gauge gets on E, that means that it's empty. But it's never really quite empty, because if you sit there and you turn that key and you pack that gas, there's always a little bit of gas in the bottom of the tank, and sometimes it'll catch just enough for you to move forward a little bit. Sometimes. Other times not. But the gas tank can never ever really be empty. So your body, as far as what we know today, will never ever be empty from the HIV virus once you've been infected.
As long as you're undetectable, they call it, you're still able to reinfect and infect people.
And you can be reinfected.
We got to put on protection.
If you don't know that you're positive and you're out there partying and having fun, you end up spreading that virus to other people, innocent people, even people that you may love.
The consequences of not getting tested are that over time, the virus will start to damage the immune system. Eventually, there will be so much damage to the immune system that they'll get one of these opportunistic infections, which could kill them or make them very sick.
And not knowing that you're HIV positive can put you in the grave. Better get yourself tested and find out what's going on with what's inside your body.
I've been tested. Have you been tested? I'm not scared. Are you scared?
It's easy, go get tested. I mean, what's the problem? What's the big deal?
Get people tested early and into care early, and if we can do that, then we can prevent hospitalizations related to HIV and all its associated diseases.
Yeah, there's a big dog.
Don't be afraid to be tested. Be afraid not to be tested.
Tired of living and afraid of dying. I spend my night alone and crying. When an individual is tested positive for the first time, their first diagnosed, a lot of suicide is on the mind.
I have tried to commit suicide and everything. I was the heck with this. I can't enjoy myself and I don't want to infect somebody else. I might as well just kill myself.
A young man came into our office maybe Monday and newly diagnosed, and that's what he was talking about. I want to kill him. I want to take my life. And he said he had a knife to his throat, and he kept taking a knife and he kept putting it to his neck, and he took it down, and he put it up, he took it down, and it was like a confusion. Do I want to live or do I want to die? When we gave him the information about, hey, this is how you live healthy. My man called me, it was yesterday, 2 days. Now he said, you know what, I thank you for talking to me, because now I know that I can live with this.
They found out they were HIV positive and they went on a binge. And it wasn't until they hit bottom that they decided to go into treatment. And everybody's bottom is different and everybody's darkness is different.
I've been running for 11 years. I've been running since I was 15 years old. I just got sick and tired to be sick and tired. Because I finally hit my bottom. As I had the strength to get clean. I finally reached that destination.
We'll carry on. And we'll be strong.
On and on we go to whatever may greet us ahead.
We'll learn to shoulder the burden together, whatever the cost.
If you test positive for HIV, there's a lot of help out there.
If you do come back positive, there's always we have things in place to help you. You're not alone.
When people say, well, I don't have insurance or I don't have a place to go, there's help out there. You just have to reach out and accept it. If one is HIV positive, lots of times the services are free.
Newark is one of the best in the nation that I can see, because we have a lot of agencies for both men and women and children, support agencies that help both fight and give prevention on HIV.
UMDMJ has some really great support services.
If the person needs any counseling for mental health or substance use, we provide that on site. We have an active relationship with social work case managers to help people with housing. We have nutritionists on staff.
There's support groups, you know, when all people get together, different things that go on to help empower the clients and the patients about what's going on with their bodies.
We try to offer everything the patient could possibly need right here on site.
The Renaissance Church is a great access to the community. It feeds the people, also offers a detox, and spiritual guidance. One of the greatest sites in Newark. Why? Because they take a personal interest in the people in the community.
We're at 407th Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, on the corner of Roosevelt Avenue, where the doors are open over 12 hours a day. And it's very important to have somebody that's in your corner, that's going to help you go through those hard times.
I came here, as I said, just drug addicted, hopeless. Just, man, gives me a little chill just thinking about it.
We don't care who you are, what you are, we just want to love you.
Broadway House is located in the North Ward section of the City of Newark. This organization is very dedicated in its philosophy of providing care and treatment for people with HIV and AIDS. When a resident does come to Broadway House, they are assigned their individual social worker.
We're very grateful for Broadway House because it's a safe haven. It provides rehabilitation, reconciliation, and restoration. We have rehab and therapy and counseling and activities.
We have an open door policy. Residents can come in and share their feedback with us about our programs.
We had someone come in and said, we actually eat off dishes, not paper plates. And just that little piece enhanced that person's quality of life. They were like, I'm ready to come. And they've never been in a place where hugs and people touch your hand and people actually come into your room and sit on your bed. You know, I think that, you know, you can't offer anything better than that.
We can be restored with the renewing of the mind spiritually and recuperating physically, being able to rectify our situations and return to our community and make a contribution to society.
Broadway House is no longer a place to die. It is now a place to live because the state-of-the-art medications and treatment and protocols that we now provide are actually prolonging the lives of many, many people.
God is blessing in a mighty way in this place. I didn't realize how many people there was that wanted to help.
NJCRI has really, really great support services.
NJCRI will offer to bring that individual in, very comfortable atmosphere. They'll talk with the case manager. From there, then they'll cycle that person out to see the counselor, the nutritionist, mental health, substance abuse. We also have 5 support groups that are currently running.
NJCRI is what helped me, because I was able to go be around people who were just like me.
What we try to do is bring to their attention that, hey, you have a healthy life to live. You have a long life to live if you want that.
I empowered myself. I started taking classes on having HIV, dealing with having HIV, learning how to live with having HIV.
Knowledge is power. The more information a person receives and understands, the more comfortable they tend to be with what's going on or what they need to do.
As long as you're educated, it's not as scary. I can live with it. I can live with it. I can run all around and do anything anybody else can do.
People need to become empowered, and they need to share. This is the only way that we can stop this virus. It's much worse than the cold, but they haven't yet cured the common cold. But they've learned how to contain it.
HIV is unique because it's a very successful virus. Our body isn't really able to combat it. We need other things to fight the virus. We need medications, really, to help us fight the virus. The basic science work that's been done on HIV is remarkable, and it's allowed for the development of specific drugs that target important parts of the virus. And one part is an enzyme that helps the virus replicate called a reverse transcriptase. So one group of drugs attack that target, and another group of drugs are designed to attack a target called a protease. And a protease is a kind of protein that basically helps put together, cut and splice all the different pieces when the virus is assembling. A new class of drugs actually prevents the virus from what we call integrating, from entering in. It blocks the interaction at the surface. So the technology has really enabled us to develop very powerful drugs that work. The tools are there, but taking the steps are very difficult for some patients to do.
You will not die as a result of being HIV positive.
Being positive is not a death sentence.
HIV is not a death sentence.
Being HIV positive is not a death sentence.
If you test positive, you can live longer if you get into medical care right away.
The sooner the test is released, the more easy it is to take control of it rather than it taking control of you.
You are the boss. Get into care early so that doctors can watch what the virus is doing inside your body. You may not even need medications.
We have to find a way to get them tested early, because if we find them infected early, then we don't even have to start treatment right away.
I try to stress to the people that I talk to that because you have a positive result doesn't mean you're going to die tomorrow. You know, if taken care of and treated, you can live a long time. But if not treated, you slim your chances. Your life is shortened.
Your immune system is now being broken down. So what you need to do to take care of that, since it's already been invaded with something, is that you need to fight. If somebody break in your house and you hear somebody downstairs coming in, they done broke the window and they're coming in your house, they have invaded your house. Your house is now infected with because there's somebody in your house. What are you going to do? You're going to arm yourself. Because when they get to where you are, you're going to be ready. Same difference. If your body has been invaded, you're going to do whatever you can do to protect it.
Fear of the medications. Fear that the medications will make you sick.
I've heard that the medications were poison.
I had pneumonia, and after that, I went home and they gave me medication, but I looked at the side effects, and I was apprehensive.
Doctors usually say let the medicine, take the medicine for at least about 30 days to see whether or not the side effects subside. But depending on how severe they are or how mild they are, the doctor may change the regimen, or the doctor may say just stick with it just a little bit longer.
Just a doctor that you can trust and you can talk to, because the more you tell him, the better he can help you.
You have to have a good rapport with your physician and your nurse. That way, if anything happens, you'll be able to let them know. You have to let them know right away so that they can take you off of that medication. They can be able to try you out something new.
Some people will not get into care because they think they will have to take a lot of pills.
Just because you're HIV positive doesn't mean that you have to now jump on 20 pills, okay? Today, there are a lot of regimens out there that you can take 1 pill a day. You can take 2 a day. Depends on how much HIV is in the body.
For me, I just take 1 pill, Cyclovir, which is 3 medications in 1. So it's been working for me.
The other myth I hear a lot is that one HIV/AIDS medicine is good for everybody. That's not true. Everybody's body is different, just like everybody's fingerprint is different.
Now I'm taking Epivir, Zyogen, and Bactrim, and Viride, and a multivitamin. So right now I feel fine.
My treatment's going okay.
I could accept it, due to, I'm going to doctors, taking care of myself the way
supposed to. The combination therapy that I'm currently taking is Virus-Sept and Combivir. It's like a diabetic who needs to take insulin every day. You get up, you do what you need to do.
The best HIV medications are available to everybody. You do not have to be rich to fight HIV.
I figured if you didn't have money, then it was just like a death sentence.
Here in Newark, if you need the antiretroviral medication, it's accessible to you.
Early HIV medications like AZT, also known as Retrivir, have very strong side effects. But now they know how to use it better, and there are many other medications available today.
Back in the 80s, AZT was the only drug that we had. So it took a lot of people to lose their lives in order for pharmaceutical companies to be able to find a way to keep the rest of us here. So those people who lost their lives, they'll lose their lives in vain. They paved the way for the rest of us to live today.
I'm not playing with those medications. HIV is serious. When I play, I'm playing with my life. My own child swallowed the medication. And he was like, oh, Mommy, you know how much money you can get? I was like, oh, honey, it's not enough money for my life.
Trust and work with your doctor. It is one of the most powerful tools you have to contain the virus.
And when people are running in the street and they're buying drugs from the street, only thing the person has to do that's selling the drug is stand in a particular place. Yo, man, come on, give me that. You know, you get your little package and you go on about your business. But when it comes to your own personal health and your doctor writes you a prescription, then you want to stop and you want to think, well, gee, I don't know if I want to take this or not. Trust somebody who you can come back to and say, hey, look, that gave me a rash, or it gave me diarrhea, or it made me constipated. I can come back to my doctor and say this. But I can't go back on that guy on the corner and be, yo, man, you know, that wasn't no good. That wasn't even right. You know, we have our whole train of thought confused. The person we should be trusting, who's our healthcare provider, is not the person we trust. That's the person we question.
I'm very strongly motivated to try to help get this huge population that's in Newark into care, that's not into care.
You, as a person, we as a person, we as a people, have to take care of others.
Step up. Step up. Little boy must grow up. Little girl must grow up.
You can live a long life, a long, healthy life, a long, healthy sexual life.
I want to live. I want to be a mother to my child. I want to continue to do the right thing for the right reason.
I think that's the most important thing. I want to be alive today. Don't get me wrong, I'm human. I have my days when I don't care whether the sun rises or sets. I have days like that. But for the most part, I don't feel that way anymore.
I have a motto.